Hi everyone.
Hi, Pranay.
Hi Pranay, has Sumit joined?
Hi Rohit. Sumit is with me only. We'll just start off in 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we have about 27 people on the call. We'll just
Yeah.
wait for a couple of minutes and then start off. We had about 120 registrations, so I guess people are figuring out this whole Teams thing.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's
I
Saturday
believe there
also.
was some
Smaller
problem.
group is better.
I was trying to sign in through Chrome also. There was some problem. So I'm now signed through Safari. I think it worked then. I was trying through Chrome and it was giving me some problem.
All right.
Yeah. No, I think if people have given their personal email ID and they have an official Teams, then there's a problem.
Oh, yeah,
I've faced
possible.
it
It
many times in the
was, yeah,
past.
yeah.
But because Sumit was the product head of Teams, so we have to show some loyalty.
It's a good one.
Yeah, he just stepped out. Let him come back, make the comment again.
Yes, yes. Pranay, meanwhile, while we are waiting, do you think it makes sense for a few people to just introduce themselves and tell us what they're expecting from today's session?
Yeah, that'll be nice if you all could just quickly give us an
Yeah,
idea of.
maybe four or five people, just unmute yourself, introduce yourself, turn on your camera preferably, and just tell us what you're looking forward to. So then maybe we can cover some of those points if it's not already planned. Yeah. Pranav, you want to go first? Pranav, Shoaib.
Yes, hi. Thank you, Rohit. Hi, Pranay. Uh, so I'm like a 2009 batch of IIM Code. I worked in ITC and then subsequently now with KTM as VP marketing. My expectation largely is so AI is like really we hear about a lot of it right these days. The applications, what it can do in the field of marketing, etc. Now, although I know a little bit, we use a few tools, but the expectation largely is to understand the larger gamut of how AI can effectively, how can we leverage the tool on a day-to-day or even from a strategic, tactical, operational perspectives? What are the use cases that are emerging, I think, from an AI perspective, can only make our work easier, I believe. There are some design tools that we use, Midjourney, et cetera, et cetera. That is something that we know have already come to you. Customer excellence is an area where AI has already sort of, have come in a big way, but really wanted to understand the other aspects of it, really.
Yeah. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to take you through, but a very demo version of what all AI can
Yeah,
do across different aspects of the funnel. And honestly, when we sat down, we
yeah.
realized this could be a 33 credit course or something. It's too much work to put in. But we just try to put
Yeah.
a demo of everything. And I know it might be something things might be just over the top, but just uh, when you get this, you understand a lot of how to do it. It's a beginner version, and then we can take into everything else you want to do. So we'll cover a little bit of everything from how to use it in marketing to future agents, etc. And Sumit, who's just joined us, he's the AI expert. I obviously will come with the marketing experience, and we together will try to put AI into marketing and give context to it. That's the idea. Anyone else? Any other expectations of the course?
Hey, sure. Maybe I can go next. I'm Aravind. I'm 2012 IMK PGP batch. Presently, I work at Salesforce. I lead some of the AI and data products here. So, Agent Force and Data Cloud and so on. So, exposed to how some of the customers and players in the ecosystem use AI, generative AI as well as agentic AI across different use cases, sales, servicing, marketing, etc. But always there is going to be more of learning when it comes to how specific folks in the ecosystem work, what is the cutting edge exploration they have done, and what are the challenges they run into, right? So looking forward to learning from those aspects.
Cool. We'll try to cover a bit of that. Should we just start off? Sumit, I'm just thinking it's 2 hours. Lots to cover. We have a fair bit of people. People join as they come. Just to begin, let me just share my slides. Can you see my presentation? Yeah.
Yes. Visible.
Okay. So we are saying mastering marketing strategy, but that's a bit too much. But we're saying from fundamentals to AI-driven execution. Anyway, so you can scan this QR code to access the master files. This is going to be a file in which we will be putting. We will give you some things to do on ChatGPT. I hope all of you all have ChatGPT. And in that, the idea is you all will try to put in the prompts you all create. And then Sumit, who's our expert, will try to help you on the prompt. So while we can't take you through complete prompt engineering, that's going to be like, that's another different zone. We'll try to do a bit of everything and slowly build it up. So let's start with the prep. So first thing, this is an introductory section with very basic examples. Please make sure all of you all have opened your ChatGPT and logged in. ChatGPT Plus may not be required for this because most of it will be basic prompts. But I don't know how much data, like at what point will ChatGPT stop working because there's a limit on the number of prompts, etc. And then we'll also give you a document at the end with the prompts we have used. So you can use a lot of them as is. And obviously, once you learn to do prompt engineering, it's not rocket science. You will just learn to play with it and make it better and better is the idea. So anyway, let's quickly start. So what we decided to do is we're going to do with the role of marketing, obviously in business growth. The simple way to look at marketing is there's something called the IDA. The IDA funnel is basically people who are aware, who are interested, who have an interest in a product, who have desire, and who take action basically to go buy a product. And then it drives loyalty, right? That's your basic IDA funnel. Now, obviously, all of you have done enough marketing in some form or the other. You've seen the IDA funnel, or you've seen the marketing funnels with the top, mid, bottom funnels. You understand what it is. So what we will try to do is we'll try to take you through the IDA and try to take you through different steps on how to use AI in each of this. So what are the IDA tasks? So the awareness task is attention task is define a TG. Interest is to find what interests the consumers and what catches their attention. And desire is obviously create a proposition that excites them. Action is to optimize medium, optimize creative to generate clicks. Now, the way we're running this course, actually it can't be a course, but we just give you a precursor to the course we will run at some point, is that every element in this can be done through AI. And it's quite interesting that when you look at it, and there are different tools which will come in place at different places, there'll be different LLMs you'll be using. Now, in this program, we try to use ChatGPT because that makes everybody's life simple. But as and when you'll work through AI in marketing, you'll realize that there are many different LLMs you can use, there are many different tools you can use. So all of them will come in pieces in our course here. So first one is market research and consumer insights. Now I'm very old school, so I'm 19 years experience, Unilever, ITC, Kraft Heinz. Right now I'm at Nothing. I'm the marketing head for Nothing, the brand, smartphone brand. I don't know if some of you have heard about this. So I still believe in a lot of old school market research and consumer insights, because at the end of the day, those consumer insights are what drive your final marketing. Now, primarily, True Times used to use these primary researches, which are surveys you do, interviews you do. And then the secondary researches, which are reports and tools. Now, what happens is you can use tools like Google Trends, SimilarWeb, and ChatGPT for deeper insights, and that's going to be your secondary research completely. But even in primary research, and more it's been possible, Google Forms can be connected to some other example. So, for example, a Google Form can be created, which will give you a data in a Google Sheet. The Google Sheet can be analyzed through ChatGPT, Foro, Mini, or any of even the older analytical tools, and you'll be able to analyze the entire research without even needing a researcher. I've been able to even do conjoint analysis, price benefit analysis, all of this through this. Now, obviously, I can't take you through the all of those elements, but what we'll do is, Sumit is on the call now. So Sumit will help us just run through how ChatGPT can also be used for research. Now, I understand a lot of you also have issues with hallucination of ChatGPT, etc. So what he will try to do is explain the best case scenario of how to do this. Sumit, you want to take over from here?
Awesome. Yes. Cool, guys. So let's get started with some very interesting stuff. I hope you have your Google Doc ready. I'll just paste the link in the chat. Please open this one. Don't go deep into what's below the threshold. I'll probably make a insert some page breaks in this so that you get to understand. You focus on the first page itself. Yeah. The idea here is, let's say you want to do your internship report and you want to kind of, do it. How would you go about typing it? How would you go about really talking to ChatGPT? What's your mental model when you're actually talking to these machines? I'm trying to, yeah, prompt library. This is here. You can see my page?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me just quickly insert a table so that we know who is doing what. I can have the name and then put in your prompt that you want to type in. So quickly go ahead, just enter your name and just put in a simple prompt that you would ideally be talking to ChatGPT. And then we'll switch over to ChatGPT. We'll really run and simulate the responses of the stuff that you kind of, just entered, and then we'll improve these
Yeah, Sumit,
prompts.
I think we'll have to
Okay.
give access to everybody. I think it's private still. Just don't change the access to everybody.
Oops. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry. Okay. What I'll do is,
So if you just change the restricted to
Yeah,
public,
to everything.
there
Yeah.
was this restricted to public.
Yep. Anyone with this can actually edit that. Yeah, you should be able to see that. Just refresh the thing and you'll be able to see it now.
Yes.
Yes, it's working.
Awesome. So let's start with this. You can see my screen as well. It's projected. So put in your name and the prompt that you would typically do when you would want to talk to ChatGPT, doing your research about it. Can I unmute yourself and let me know whenever you are done, or just type you're done in the prompt itself so that I know that you're done typing? I see A, which is the first one, is kind of done. Awesome. I'll pick A's thing and then we get started as we go along. So I'll switch over my screen. I'll bring ChatGPT up. Others, please keep typing. Or you want me to wait because your attention probably be a little distracted. I'll give you 2 minutes and then we jump right in. Folks can see my screen and GPT window.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Only 3 people of 39 have their cameras on. Guys, come on, please. Turn your cameras on. Let's make it interactive. Let's see each other. I'll get to know who you guys are. I'm not sure, by the way, I haven't introduced myself. I am Lucknow 2008 2010 batch alum. Worked in the industry for about 15, 16 years now. My last assignment was building Microsoft Teams on desktop. This is my product. I was building communities and reactions in this. And I did a couple of Copilot integrations here. And then I moved to Dubai, started teaching people, and now I run a platform called Interview Club ACI. That's essentially a school of AI. All right, with that, we shall jump right in. We have some interesting prompts coming in. So, okay, we still have people to me. That's a good one. Hemant, that's a nice prompt that you've typed in. So let's say if this is what we are talking about, and I will just enter this. You guys can see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, no, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now, interestingly, hi, I require information about XX topic. Collate recent developments and things I need to know from relevant sources, attach them via links so I have complete understanding of it. And it gave me something. It seems you're interested in XX. The term can refer to various topics such as English, indie pop band, the XX, the WXX album, the XX of the topics. Da, 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 da. Clearly, we need to improve the topic. I'll come back to A. A, given this is your prompt, what do you want in this space of XX? You can unmute yourself so I'll get to hear. I'm not switching with windows. So if you just tell me or anybody else who want to replace this XX to something else.
Maybe we can have the use of agentic AI in the marketing landscape.
Information about, information about use of agentic AI
in the
in
marketing
marketing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Now it's giving you some stuff, right? It's giving you some use cases. Talk about what kind of applications are there, recent developments, challenges. Now, the question to you is this meaningful? Do you feel this is meaningful? We just got this. Okay, Soja is asking which version of ChatGPT. So I'm currently using 4.0. This one's a paid, but you can actually go to O3 as well, and same concepts essentially would be true there as well. But is this response good, bad, ugly? Is this useful?
I don't really think so. It's a very generic answer. Like for someone who is looking to have a nuanced view, I think this is too generic to go forward with.
Correct. And then we have deep, so we can totally look at, and there are some settings that you can probably play around with. This is search the web. This one is a deep research, and then you can actually, change models. But not going there, just this prompt alone. Couple of things which got missed here. Hi, I require information about XX topic as the first one, which we improved. So we go back and we say, I'll just copy paste the entire prompt itself. Hi, I require information about use of agentic AI in marketing topic. collate recent developments and things I need to know. Now, what's one of the biggest challenges with this particular prompt is that GPT does not understand who are you and what role is he supposed to play in this narrative. The biggest mistake in this current prompt. I'll just add two things here. Hi, I am a student of IIM Lucknow doing my summer internship with a FMCG brand. I require information. Now we do that, etc., etc. Can collate, and then I'll just add. Now, this information that I'm adding, which is about the role that GPT is supposed to do, ideally should be a separate line. So you understand how the prompts are being done. Anything that you put in as one big chunk is typically considered as one big prompt. So you break the entire thing into various instructions that you want to give to LLMs. Now, LLMs are in general, and we just finished some kind of repeating what I just learned, and a couple of other resonated in the room. LLMs are essentially probabilistic models to predict what is the next word or token that is supposed to throw. It's basically vomiting garbage in and garbage out. That's it. The good garbage that you give in, the good garbage that you get out, the good prompt that you give in, the better the response that you get out. So if you don't instruct GPT the right way to give what is the purpose, what methodologies, what kind of a role you want LLM to play, how should the output is going to look like, that entire thing will probably change around. And we'll see a couple of examples now. So I am a student of IIM Lucknow doing a summer internship, and then I will enter a return here. I require information about use of agentic, etc., to be presented to my senior leadership on the scope of where we can introduce the latest AI technologies. This is the reason. This is my why do I want to do, my because. So I want to do this, but what is the reason why I wanted to do that was not very clear. So I add that. Now I'm asking it to collate recent development, etc. But it does not tell me what is the output that I want. Collate the result into a bulleted paragraph with the voice attuned to the CXOs of the organization. And I'll remove CXOs. Voice paragraph focused for my manager in the organization, or addressed to my manager in the organization, right? Assume you are a digital marketing and brand marketing expert in an FMCG company worth $2 billion. Some number. Now I've just added my role. I've added the role that GPT is supposed to play. I've added why do I want this information? What do I want to really use it for? And I added how do I want the result to eventually come down. Now it's giving me leveraging AI to transform a dear manager's name. Now it's again going into a narrative of a letter, right? We did not specify what exactly do I want this for. If I change it to make a PPT, or I need responses in a bulleted format for a PPT, then the entire narrative will actually change. Now, I require information itself is a very requesting paradigm, if you see. And I'll change I require information also to something else. Now, here is the response that you just got: enhanced personalization, etc., etc., da, 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 and agentic AI, etc., etc. Now, let me just go back and I'll improve the same prompt. Yeah. And here, I will move this to the top. That's number one. Do research and present to me. Now I'm adding it to do research. Agentic data to be presented to my senior leadership, etc. Collate recent developments from the web along with the links from last 1 year only. Fact check the information before sharing with me. Ask me anything that you feel you want to know before proceeding with this research. I want to present my findings to the senior manager and leadership in a PPTX format, but we'll make the file later. Present this to me in a canvas. So what I've done is I added the role first, then I said, who am I? Then I changed the narrative from I require information to do research, present it to me, and then etc. etc. Collate recent developments from last 1 year, fact check the information. So I'm asking GPT to do not give any hallucination and only focus on fact checking. Ask me anything what you want before you go to do. Now it is asking me, are these particular areas of marketing that you're focusing on? Because even for my research that I'm doing, there can be zillions of these topics. Now it's again going to, now when you start answering these questions, the final response that you will get will be far outright better than the one that you've currently been doing. You want to take a stab at it with number one, specific marketing domain? Which one do you want to pick here? You want to type it in
Brand
or
marketing.
just you want to do brand marketing? Okay.
Yeah.
So we say, here are my responses. One, brand marketing. Two, target audience. Who will be the primary audience for this presentation?
CMO, me.
CMO. Three, current AI initiative. Is the organization currently using any AI tools? If nothing, we can just say absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Four, time frame and resource expected timelines for this initiative. What are the specific resources constraints to consider? No constraints. Research oriented around roadmap building. Spelling mistakes, don't worry, it kind of takes care of its own. Recent development, summarizing, etc., etc., etc. Now it's not going for 5. Is this enough? So even while I'm answering it in one words, it's saying, I'm asking it to say, hey, is this enough? And you want to really question it all over again. Now here is all the stuff that we wanted to now go. Because I said my output supposed to be in a canvas. And why canvas? Because inside of this canvas, I can actually go and type it out in the response itself. So that's the benefit of doing anything inside of a canvas. I can actually write something here and then I do it. Now, if you see the response that we got, I'll come back to the canvas again. Now, if you look, go back and see the responses, how it has changed over a period of time. First one was purely about indie pop XX, and we went right there. Then we said use of agentic AI. It started to give me just applications of some, and then recent development with some links, some ethical consideration. That's about it. Nothing very meaningful. Then we added who do you want to assume the role, etc., etc., and it started to give me some more deeper insights into what can be done. But again, this was not formatted or contextual enough. Now here is where I started to give what is my purpose, what am I doing, how am I doing it, etc., etc., adding couple of more narratives to the prompt saying that fact checked from last 1 to 2 years only. And there is one where we can even ask GPT to now becoming, and this is where chain of thought prompting comes very interesting. So till now, what we were doing is a few shot prompting. Starting from zero shot prompting, we went to few shot prompting. Now we are getting into the realm of chain of thought prompting. And I would say act as a devil's advocate and help me identify gaps in the current approach as a CMO.
How is the context setting been? I mean, this is going to be a follow-up, or how that kind of an understanding ChatGPT has here.
Because there is memory in it. When you're using the models, if you're using 4.0 or anything which is beyond 3.5, GPT has memory. So till the time you are in this chat, and there are all of these different chats that I have on my left-hand side, till the time you are in this chat, it will remain to act as a digital marketeer and brand marketing expert in FMCG, because that's the role that I have shared. Now, when I asked and I changed the role here, act as a devil's advocate and help me identify gaps in the current approach as a CMO. So from a brand expert to now I am giving it a role of a CMO. And now this is saying absolutely putting on the CMO hat. See, the role changed. Now, from a CMO's perspective, key gaps, blind spots, and questions that a CMO essentially would ask are now coming forward. So AI sounds exciting. What is the ROI? Can the current marketing team pull off, or is it a shiny toy? These are the questions that is now starting to ask. What a CMO might ask is here. And it's even asking you, okay, want to do my research, a risk and mitigation slide? Great point.
In
Add
fact,
the risk.
as a
Yeah,
student,
sorry,
what
go
you
ahead, go
can
ahead.
as a student, what you can also do is you have a permanent memory also for ChatGPT. So you can add something to memory saying, my name is XYZ, I am a student of IIM Kozhikode, IIM Lucknow, whatever, and this is my role. So you add it to permanently stay in its memory. So then whatever your questions you ask in the future will always be basis your role in the world. And that's one of the beauty of this. And the memory which you're seeing now, which is come with ChatGPT 4, is as you're working, it takes context from your previous statement. So for example, I was just doing, I will show you a smartphone example we did. Everything has come from the previous prompt. It's not like we've done fresh prompt each time. And so that creates continuity, which was not there earlier, which has come in with ChatGPT 4 onwards.
Correct. Okay, Shafia has the information provided in the prompt structured differently. Does it change the outcome? Absolutely, Shafia. You move one word here and there, it changes the complete outcome. And I want to go just pick up the other prompt, which is what was it given by Hemant, which is a pretty nicely done prompt. I want to show how the responses will change. Now, imagine the role in this particular case is of we have a brand guy of an FMCG product company, which is a $2 billion. You are a student, that's the role that you've also set. Now I have this prompt which says, so this is critical document that I'm sharing with you. This is about partnership with one of the global players as a tech platform, da, 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 da. Return giving. However, this time we are partnering with current organizer. I'm sharing with you the opportunity. Da, da, da. Now, this prompt does not have anything about my role or the company's role, but we definitely see here as a master negotiator. Now, the expert is going to act as a master negotiator, and we'll probably double down on that. Let's see how and what this prompt does.
And while it's answering now, so there's also an easier way to do this if you're not you're learning prompt engineering. You can even start your prompt with act as a prompt engineer and then put your prompt and say and correct this prompt. So the basic prompt you put will be converted into a proper detailed prompt. And that prompt will be 10 times better than what you've created. And you can keep adding context to it or edit it and then use it again. So the beauty of ChatGPT teaches you how to improve your prompt. That's one of the best things.
Yeah. Glad you brought this in. I almost skipped mentioning this one. I'm going back to the first prompt, okay, which is where we started off. Completely new chat. Hey, act as an expert prompt engineer. Help me improve this prompt. and in quotes, and I'll give this in a second line. Now, act as a top research analyst. I need a comprehensive, up-to-date summary on whatever topic it is. Now, this is where we take it and we plug in our previous topic that we used, which was about understanding use of agentic AI in marketing. I'll just copy paste that from there, right? I come here, I replace XXXX topic, including relevant ensuring and ensure. Now, just with this one piece, you will see that how it is actually going to give you responses is a very different narrative. You see how it is structured, where you are, what kind of variations by style you can actually run it, and it even gives you want to run the prompt, gather insight. Is this the best prompt that you can give? If you challenge GPT, then it even gets better and better. It actually gets into the narrative of, hey, how can I actually challenge myself and get better? Now, the prompt that we initially started off with has now been changed to this as a prompt. So we started off with this one on the beginning. Then we said, okay, we'll just add a few roles. And purely by challenging this is the best prompt, it has actually changed the entire prompt to this. Now, what you started off with doing one XXXS, we come here and we run this. Now the response that you will get is going to be a completely different world altogether. This will actually dazzle you, if I can say. And it's very interesting. There's one concept about energy states in GPT, and that energy states essentially talks about, can you excite GPT? Now imagine, Hemant, did you go for a date one of these days? Recent dates that you had?
No,
Okay. Did you have a heartbreak? Yeah,
not really.
not really. Yeah, some part of it, right? Now imagine if Raymond went out for a Friday night date and the bandi kind of cut out and move on. Now he's super sad. Now the next morning, whenever he wakes up, he's in a sulky state. Any decision that he would be making now would be so colored with the previous evening's experience. Similarly, if the girl he proposed accepted the proposal and now he's in absolutely ecstatic state, and now if I go to Hemant and say, yaar, bada khush lag raha hai, bhai, can you give me 2,000 rupees? I want to take my bandi out for a date. He will be like, yeah, take 2,000. Why 2,000? Take 5,000. When your energy states are either too low or too excited, either of the two scenarios, humans and GPTs, LLMs, they kind of falter on the way they would reason out. Now, you can actually bring in this insight inside of your GPT, and we'll just quickly go over the response. So this was a new prompt that you got, and this is the response that you eventually came out of it. Now, imagine if this is the prompt that we had, and I come here and say, act as the most amazing kick-ass Gen Z prompt developer. Improve this prompt for the most amazing response. And I give my prompt that I had initially copied into this. Now I am actually exciting this prompt by putting in Gen Z, kick-ass, most amazing, etc. These are terminologies which you can then use when you're actually giving a role of a CMO, analyst. The moment you say an award-winning CMO, the role changes completely. The moment you go from an FMCG CMO to a healthcare CMO or a mental health CMO, the role changes completely. A mental health CMO would be more empathetic, more inclusive, more oriented around people, would not be too excited, would be more listening, would not be over the brand, not like Pepsi and Coke. Zindagi Jilo types, thunder, डर के आगे जीत है. They would not go into that. Now, purely on the basis of the prompt, when I just added amazing kick-ass Gen Z prompt developer, this is the new prompt that you have received. Now, see how different it is from the first one. Also in terms of the emojis, also in terms of how it is even calling and quoting the words. I'm pasting this prompt as a referral into the Google Doc, and I'll transfer it back to Pranay sir. So over to you. Sorry, I've taken a little long, but hopefully we'll be able to cover a few more topics now, and then we'll come back to a couple of more, more demos, so to say. Pranay sir, over to you.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so now getting into customer segmentation and persona. So there was also a video we wanted to play, but I think we just share that separately to you. So it's about how people are now shifting slowly from proper customer research to using AI for research, and that's one of the things. Now, I also work in an organization where obviously we don't have that much money to do a lot of research. So some of the tools I've used is for creating customer segments and personas. So you can actually use ChatGPT basis the data you give. There's also a concept of called RAG, in which you can actually provide your researchers, your existing consumer researchers, your existing consumer work in files to your GPT and restrict it so that it is not taken to the global net, and use that to create your personas. And now I've not done that because that obviously is my work. But what I've tried to do is I have created a persona for a brand called something smartphone. Now, if you see the presentation of everything on the presentation, from the presentation itself was made using AI. So I've not taken that much effort in creating the text, etc. But the reason to do that is also to explain how much AI can be used. So this is the persona I created. Now you can see it is AI because you can see there are also spelling mistakes, like consumer profile is a consumer profile, something which is still some gaps with AI. But AI actually, with the information I provided, created a profile for my consumer. His age is 29, his location is Bangalore, he's tech savvy and curious. He values productivity, minimalism, privacy. He replaces his phone every 15 to 18 months. And this has come from the research work I did earlier on what is the frequency of phone replacement. We also see what is the email he uses, what kind of tools he uses, and what are the pain points he has. So one of these pain points, and actually I work on this segment, and I know this is an actual pain point which comes out even in my research. So I know that this is true, and this is all through ChatGPT. I didn't bias it with any of my. I've used my personal ChatGPT and not my official one. And you can see it's generic, bloated OS, notification overlaid, all these pain points which a normal person has. So what is his need and aspiration? He wants a phone that syncs with his flow. It's a quiet design. It has smarter functionality. So this entire consumer profile through your ChatGPT, and we won't be able to go into every and each every example, can be created. In fact, this image also after creating the profile, obviously the English was much clearer, but the image also was created using ChatGPT. So I took the profile and I asked ChatGPT to convert it into a graphical format. Now the next part, which is your TAM, SAM. You know what is this, right? So basically, what is a TAM? TAM is your total addressable market. How big the entire smartphone industry is my total addressable market. SAM is the serviceable available market. So what market is available, or what market is now what number of people are right now in the market to buy a product. So that's my serviceable available market. And there's a SOM. That SOM is your basically specific market which is now ready to buy a product. So this normally now ideally in a scenario when you're doing this research, you should be having data like TGI or an existing primary research which you use in ChatGPT. You can upload it into ChatGPT in your own custom GPT, and you can create your queries based on that. But what I did is, since I didn't want to use that, I actually asked ChatGPT, the global ChatGPT, which is on using the worldwide net. And here, this is what I found out. So it found out, for example, the market of Indian smartphone market is about $50 billion, approximately, right? The addressable market is about 7.5 billion. So these are people ready to buy. And I saw the specific people who are going to buy the product, which are AI first urban professionals, they are about 375 million. So the TG identified, and this is the TG, which in this segment wants an AI product is about 22 to 38 in tier 1 and tier 2 cities. Each element, including the diagram here, done completely through AI. Then I took all this information. I've done the research earlier. I pulled out the research elements. I pulled out the storm. I pulled out the SAM. And I created my strategy on a page. So this is a brand. I'm calling it something. This is a product I'm launching. And this product completely from end to end, along with this page, was created by ChatGPT, which said, these are the 2025 smartphone trends. This is the consumer segmentations. And if you see consumer segmentation, these are psychographic segments. And you can see there are a lot of spelling errors. That's because the text, I'll share it if anybody is interested, I can share the text separately, is about aspiring professionals, budget seekers, and these are exactly the cohorts we get when we do media research. So all of this can be done through ChatGPT. Basis the cohort, it can also tell you which is the cohort which will be most open or who are early adopters or people interested in a product. So if you know the funnel, the way it works, right? So there are the innovators, the early adopters, so this early adopter segment is the segment of AI professionals, which has been figured out as the best people who will buy my product. Also the recommended features. So for example, it gives an AI person assistant, Insta-ready camera AI, gesture canvas, adaptive engine. All of this came from needs that consumers are articulated in different researches across the World Wide Web. All of that is put together and this product has been created. Now, obviously, since I was doing this as a test and to teach, or to kind of share, not teach so much, share with the people here, I took it on face value. But normally what I would do, I would take this down and then I would modify some parts of it, add my own research to it, retest it and come out with a marketing profile. Now coming to classical brand positioning.
Sir, just a second. Can you go back to this? So guys, you have this one PPT which has been generated by ChatGPT, one slide. Now I want to share my screen and quickly tell you how you can actually augment this entire work to a 10x. So here is a tool called Gamma. Okay, Gamma.app. And I just right now in front of you, I took a screenshot of the slide and I just pasted it here. Now I say I want to make a presentation for my senior leadership on the strategy of the phone called something. Use this image as a reference for the key pointers. And I'll just continue with that. Okay, it asking to be medium generate whatever, and it's asking me 8 cards. Let's see what it gives. If it does not process it, then we'll probably just use the strategy doc that Pranay has, and we copy paste the damn thing here, and then we start to figure out. You can see my screen, right?
Yes. Yes, it's visible.
Now, the beauty of Gamma is I can actually talk to each card. Give me or double check this data for India for last 24 months only. While it's a revenue projection, it's kind of would have taken some semblance of the benchmark, and it changed. Right? Manufacturing, supply chain, strategic next steps, anything you didn't like this format, you can go back and say try a new layout, and we'll give you some layouts that you want to then kind of play around with. It's currently visualizing, it's generating the content. Now, just imagine by using just what you have as in GPT, I copy the whole thing inside of Gamma and I paste it or just put the entire PPT itself. Like I just want to use this one. Yeah, you see, my slide changed. This is really where we are now. We are in the world of not really going back to PowerPoints and really doing some fancy stuff. You have your text. Even if you do not have your text, you can actually come here. You can come into generate and describe what you want. Uh, I want to launch a new phone called something in India, targeted to the Gen Zs. Give me a VC pitch deck. That's it. I mean, gibberish, wrong, wrong information, wrong spellings, etc., etc. And now it's giving me all the other stuff about what the market is, etc. Gen Zs, how they do it, blah 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 blah. I'll probably just put inside one of these themes, and I will just create it, just generate it. Now you can bring in your own brand guidelines. Also, you can do research on brand guidelines. You can actually play around with your own custom themes. But if you have an idea in your mind, there are some amazing tools which can really translate that entire insight and knowledge and idea into something really solid in like less than 2 minutes. Here's the pitch deck that we're talking about a phone called something. So use GPT for research, do whatever, etc., etc. Put together a canvas, get all the information, come to Gamma, paste it in, you're done. Half an hour. If you really pay attention to the details, half an hour is all that's going to take to get here. Sorry, Pranay sir, over to you. I kind of jumped in, but
Yeah, no,
I just wanted
actually
to
was going to share the report with you separately.
Yeah,
So I'll just share
sure.
the report I got, and actually we put this in Gamma. I didn't use Gamma because I was using ChatGPT for this one, and you get the entire document made for you without any changes.
Yeah,
It's like
this is
amazing.
fascinating, actually, Pranay, and thank you. I think this presentation tool is. I actually have a question, Pranay.
Yeah.
If this is so, and I'm so so anybody can go and understand that there's an opportunity for a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
Then why is there one nothing? Then there should have been many nothing. So what is the differentiator here then?
Yeah, so at some point you'll reach a perfect world where everybody will have the same information, and that's one of the gaps we have. But what I'm
Yeah.
not telling you, like I told you, right, this is the World Wide Web information I pulled out and I created this research. But
Mhm.
once I get this concept, there'll be 10, 100 different researches I have done, which are my own research, not syndicated, not common research, which I will
Okay.
keep doing to perfect the output. And that
Okay.
also I can put back into ChatGPT. But the difference is that ChatGPT I will keep localized. So that's the concept of RAG. RAG is retrieval. What's the full form of RAG, Sumit? Retrieval, something it's called. Basically, you pull up the files,
Retrieval, augmented generation,
augment.
augmented
Yeah. So
generation.
basically, only your documents and only your internal research will go into creating this. So there is publicly available information.
Okay.
Actually, Unilever is the best example. So we used to have publicly available information also through social listening. We had a whole team which
Yes.
used to do that, pull it in.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you would have your own researchers. And there was a team which put them together and created a report for us every month. And that was one big task. They used to sit and take ages to do it. Chat GPT can do that in a second. So the publicly
Okay.
available information it picks up.
Okay.
You can also reduce hallucinations. So one of the big gaps is also hallucination is basically ChatGPT making up stuff. So that is an issue. So you say don't hallucinate, or you have to say stick to real world and add these files, and you'll get the same capability.
So rote and
And
repeat
this,
work, but
yeah,
actually the real moat will be the information that you have, resident information that you will have over a period of doing this, right? Or something
yeah.
like that.
And how you use ChatGPT. So what we are showing you is very
Yeah.
basic stuff now.
Right.
In an end state, and Sumit is an expert in all of that. You can even
Yeah.
create agents, and I've been after his life. Let's see, we'll figure out that where we create a workflow where, let's say, if you run your social media, the social media output can be tracked. That should be going back to your social media team, and I'll come to examples as we go. So your posts should be created on a daily basis organically. You would have to do nothing. So you should be having a post created and posted out on Instagram at a certain time, basis the work you've been doing. And honestly, with the technology available, it is actually possible. In fact,
Yep.
today morning only Sumit introduced us to somebody from Apple who was showing us some of the stuff. And actually, a lot of these things they have started. A lot of things other people have started. So a lot of this is already in the works. People are doing it. Yeah. So what we are
In
showing
fact,
you is
I
very
manage
basic.
one of
Yeah,
my
yeah,
handles, which is a completely automated handle. So I use Canva to generate 100 designs in a matter of like seconds. And then I use make.com to automate my webhooks from Canva to Google Drive or Notion, then from Notion to Instagram, which can then automatically do captions and hashtags and everything else. What's even more funny is in case if you're doing blogging, then you can take this to a custom bit.ly. You can add UTM characters. You post it on, whatever with a UTM parameter, and then as a feedback, you track those UTM, you call bit.ly as an agent. Then from bit.ly, you come back and then you figure out a couple of more things, and then even do data analytics and see which geographies, which campaign performed well, which ones did not perform well, which channel and bit.ly kind of, got what kind of a traffic. All of this is currently automated. I was having a conversation with a couple of folks, and they have actually reduced the entire 350 member team of callers who would typically call people to zero. They use 11 labs, they use HeyGen, they use a couple of more models. Servam is for more Indian text, so to say. Use Servam to get text, and then use HeyGen and 11 labs to really generate those tones. You can actually have it for India as well. I mean, that's a reality that that we are seeing at this point in time. So
in fact,
that's for real.
We created an ad. We didn't actually finally do it sometime back. The launch, the whole, and somebody's done, I think Britannia did it with Ravi Shastri, where they had him speaking in one language and using Bharat GPT, which is India's GPT. They had him speak in 10 different languages, generate jokes. And I think it's a case study Group M is put across the world everywhere. And it's not rocket science, honestly. And while they make it into very big things, it's actually something which anybody can do at any point of time. So anyway, let's move faster. So anyway, brand positioning, all of you have done this kind. I don't want to go through this, but basically you have an audience need, strategic role, all of that. So this was the example of Huggies, brand promise, audience. Then also what I did is I just took this template, and this is one of the issues we have in classical brand marketing, is that these templates cannot be recreated, right? So there needs to be qualitative work, there needs to be stuff done around it. So taking all the work online, and honestly, this is not perfect, but basis the strategy we did, looking at a template, the AI even generated the entire brand profile for this. So what is the brand promise? What is the strategic target, functional promise? And honestly, as a brand marketer, obviously after so many years, I can still find gaps in it, but it's not a bad starting point. So I'm saying with this starting point, I can then work on create much more marketing. So the amount of work I would do to create these brand templates, which used to take eternity at some point, comes down by a lot. In fact, one of the discussions they were having today morning was that OpenAI guy, Sam Altman, was saying that there will be at some point of time a 1 billion startup with one person running it, right? Because that is how AI can work. AI can create your coding, AI can do your customer response, marketing, everything through agents. So anyway, that's the end state, but it's not too far, to be honest. Now coming to sentiment analysis, and I don't know, Sumit, you want to take the sentiment analysis? So there are tools like Craft Tool, etc. But we just quickly want to talk about how web sentiment is also done through AI. You'll have the time to run it?
Yeah. We can probably look at it, but in general, essentially, sentiment analysis is understanding, hey, how are people really talking about it? And that's essentially, this can also be done by just doing smart prompting. At the end of the day, it's all about prompt engineering and how deep you want to do. But I probably would share my GPT again. By the way, there is some chat which is going in the comment section. You should totally look at that as well. Good conversation happening in the chat. There's an NA10 versus Zapier. I'll probably comment on that later. But coming here now, so we started off with asking what the prompt is and how we kind of do research, etc., etc. And I now come here. I want to do sentiment analysis. What are the best practices that I should take care of in my prompt? While doing sentiment analysis, give this to me as a framework approach. Now here, when you ask it for a framework, it'll basically now start to put, certain parameters, how to do, what to do, etc., etc. Now this framework is kind of important to get because we will now use this framework as an input for other things. So we will say that, hey, this is a framework that we want. in this particular, using this particular framework, so we have a Senti prompt framework for prompt-based Senti analysis. Like, great. This is, I just copy paste it here. Copy this. Use this framework and give me sentiment analysis about my brand called Mintra. Give me, oh man, this is getting a little stuck. Give me all the assumptions you made in a tabular form as you do this analysis. See, this is important to know because your chat GPT is going to hallucinate the moment we ask him for a sentiment analysis. But what has happened is that we asked him to pick a particular framework first. Using that framework, here is the brand. Now do the sentiment analysis. And while you do that, if you took 5 and a 5.5 as negative, or a 5.5 as 6, which is promoter, or a 5 is a distractor, if that's the kind of NPS you're talking about, then what are the assumptions that you are making? You want to know. So every single time you consider and you come across a use case which has hallucinations, particularly in terms of generating or in terms of analyzing something, you want to say that give me assumptions in a separate thing. So now here is the assumption. Now it's suddenly going a little too slow. It's getting hanged. Okay, I need to maybe close a few windows. Let me do that. Okay, I'm stopping the sharing. Maybe it got stuck there. I'll just wait if it comes. Yeah, as it comes, so Pranay sir, we can get started and we can come back to this. It's kind of getting hung a little. Maybe my system is running into issues. As soon as it is run, I'll come back and I'll share how the assumptions make sense in the prompt.
Yeah. So what I also did with product strategy, and there's we'll also share that prompt with you. I've written the prompt in a different document. So we put all our prompts together and share that with you. So we can actually use AI to even brainstorm features. We can use DALI to visualize. And I know, see, it's AI is also somewhere it's been seen as a party trick, right? Everybody makes the images, those Ghibli. In fact, even we did a Ghibli image just to kind of buy into this whole play into this whole AI as a party trick play. But you can actually define core features, benefits, and innovation in the roadmap. So what I did is, for example, I did the entire strategy, right? Then this is generated by AI. I didn't play much with it, and I used Chat GPT mainly. Actually, you can make much better images through other tools, but the idea was to use Chat GPT and to do this completely. And I tried to create a product concept card. Now, we also have to understand it's not just that you make a phone, create features, and launch it, right? You test it among consumers. So this is one of those test cards. So I'm saying these are the features I have. This is the capability it has. Anything and everything in this was created by AI. AI chose the features to be put on this card. And this card can then be put into a research. The research can be hosted on a Google form. You can even create your own ad. So this is very basic work, which I did literally like on ChatGPT basic, nothing, no additional features, no Canva, no Sora. And I asked them for a model, an Indian model, who was wearing a certain apparel with the most basic font. I didn't even prompt engineer. And I said, these are the three main features I want to show, because classical marketing, you show three features, you show the brand name and you show a tagline. I can create an entire poster for it. And while there was at some point in time a gray area on the IP of who owns it, etc. Imagine if I was a startup, right? And I kind of now with ChatGPT giving me the ownership of this image also, I can create my own content and I can create this at scale. Like what I think Sumit has done on Canva, he can create 200 pieces of content, giving a similar prompt generation, and he will get 200 pieces of information he can run. So you can even A/B test this, run it across different media. Look at the kind of like we do classical A/B testing, right? We look at the ROAS, we look at the CTR, we test it on a daily basis and run it. This can be done completely through ChatGPT in a combination of an agent and the combination of let's say classical tools of Google Analytics, etc., connected to it. So this is, for
What you can
example, a
also
video we
double
created.
down on, yeah. What you can also double down on is that you can make 2, 3 versions of your ad. You've already defined your persona to ChatGPT, and then ask ChatGPT to act as an AB engineer or an AB experimenter, and say, as an AB, if I want to run an AB experiment on these 2, 3, 4, 5 campaigns, these are the creatives. For this particular persona, historically in India, go to the web, figure out what is happening, and tell me which one will have better propensity to grow is one outcome, generate virality is another outcome, drive your CTRs and traffic is a third outcome, get more adoption and engagement is probably a different one. So what your objective is important to be defined. So you do that, define your objective, and GPT is bloody brilliant at giving you which one would actually, do well. So, sorry, Pranay, we can do the video.
Yeah. Yeah, so just the video was a Sora video we created out of. So this again, with minimum effort, a 10-second video I asked to create for something the phone. Again, if you see, this is the most basic prompt used, and if it can be done without any prompt engineering, I have not connected it to any tools. I did not use, and we were discussing this whole whether I use Higgins or I try different tools, and I tried those tools. And my point is, no, let's go to ChatGPT. Let's do the bare minimum and find out. And you can create a bare minimum video from this. I'll also show you examples of other types of videos as we go forward. Then what happens next? So even promotion strategy, right? So your media selection. So everything from ATL, BTL, your influencers, SEO, everything can be done through ChatGPT. So for example, you can use a Jasper for copy, Meta AI tools for targeting, even your bidding. So for example, if you any of you are running with GroupM today, right? While they will not share what is inside that tool, they have an AI bidding tool for which they believe the capabilities are better, where technically they can bid on different rates or on different media through AI, and AI will tell them at what time is the best time for you to reach your target TG. Now, this is something which is actually basically Chat GPT implementation, or any GPT you can take and implement it. And what it will do is it will be able to decide what is the best period to kind of target media. Now, one opposite view here is if everybody starts using AI bidding, it's going to be it can't be a perfect system. But that's also where the role of the human comes in, where along with this, you'll have to find tips and tricks to how to improve your AI as it progresses on a daily basis. So that whatever you're working on becomes better and better every day. In fact, and this is Meta AI I use for to find targeting output. So I put in the entire strategy of my product on Meta AI, and Meta AI told me how do I target my people. So these are the interest targeting. It's a target people based on AI, technology, lifestyle, design, innovation. This is something typically on smartphones. I get a similar cohort, so I was fine with that. Then they saying behavioral target users who have shown interest. If you look at this, the targeting parameters and all of this is completely basis Meta taking my information is very similar to what I would normally do on a budgeting for my campaign. And this works as your starting input. So obviously you start with this campaign, and then as you run the campaign, you keep looking at your ROAS, you keep looking at your ROI, and you can keep tweaking your money, shifting your money from Facebook to Instagram, Instagram to Google. And this is the capability that you have, that you can do it all of this through AI. So AI not only created the creative, AI created the product concept, it created the design, it created even the creative, the woman with the phone, and it can tell me how much money to spend where. And on a continuous improvement, it can also tell me how to reallocate my money. All of this can be done through AI. Then I also tried, and this is actually, sorry, me playing with it too much. And I said, I gave it Elvish, I gave it Sanskrit, I gave it Brahmi script, and said, take this and create a logo for something mobile phone. So this is something it created. Now, this obviously of all the stuff I've ever done in life is probably not there. But this is if this could be the beginning point, and I've worked with design agencies, would take tons of money, right? They can take a crore to get you a good logo. So I'm saying AI can give you the same capability and use it in the Canva. This is ChatGPT. I didn't even get into Canva. You can use Canva, etc., and you can create your best logos with the minimum effort. And these logos can be designed in such way that you can keep improving it on a regular basis. So that's again one more capability of AI. Then you have the platform roles. You can create your entire social media strategy. So, for example, I defined my pillars. I defined my information. I wrote a prompt, and that's a larger prompt which I'll share in the document we share. I wanted to create a complete social media strategy with content pillars, monthly calendar, different elements. I reverse prompt engineered it, tested it with ChatGPT. I made ChatGPT improve my prompt because I'm not as big an expert as Sumit is, for example. So I kept doing that. And after 3 prompts, I got the entire calendar. So this is my social media strategy for something smartphones. It says how will the brand positioning be, the tone of voice. So how should the post be? So, for example, the sample caption is keep vibing. Hashtag is hashtag photography, AI and title, whatever, AI. What kind of email template should be there? What are the content pillars? So the different content pillars are product features, collab text, lifestyle integration, community moments. And this actually looks like any mobile phones content pillars which I've seen in the market. So that's there. Then also, for example, the 30-day content calendar. It has created a content calendar for me for 30 days on what to do, where to do, what example to do in terms of user testimonials, features, contests. And all of this has been done completely using ChatGPT. So you can get a complete social media strategy. Now, here, obviously, a disclaimer is this is basis what ChatGPT assumes works best for you. Also, as you keep working with it, that is a feedback loop discussion. You have to keep providing them access to your Instagram handles, your dashboard. So what I used to do, for example, in the organization is I would take snapshots of posts or snapshot of my last month and even put that into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT would say this time of the day works better, that time of the day works better. Now, if you work with Meta AI can actually connect with your dashboards also and give you complete information on what is the best period of social media handling. So all of this can together create a social media strategy. Now, this is an ad completely created on AI, just to give you.
Like this morning, a small 5-minute movie was presented in the session that we had with the ex-CPO of Apple. And the entire movie was made on, using Canva, GPT, and Kling. And it's a fantastic work that these guys did. It's amazing fan shots that they had. This one is so nice too. Is it released, Pranasa? It's Nike's?
Yeah, it's out. It's out.
Wow.
In fact, it got panned a bit also. And it's slightly older actually. AI
Yeah,
has
this is
improved since
actually
then.
old. This was released on LinkedIn, etc. But
Yeah.
I mean,
And it got panned a lot actually.
it got panned. Yeah, yeah. So it
Yeah.
had both kind of
Interesting.
responses.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Then coming to reporting and presentations, you already shown us Gamma, right? We wanted to kind of also
Right.
cover Gamma and Canva. You want to go through Canva once?
हाँ, मैं Canva से पहले एक और दूसरी चीज दिखाना चाहूंगा. We spoke about design,
Yeah.
right? So there is this tool called UI Zard. So once you log in, this is roughly where you would come in. Now, okay, who's asking the most number of questions in the chat? Okay, we have Swanzal, Soza, Tarun, Swanzal again. Swanzal, can you unmute yourself and give an idea of what kind of an app or a startup that you would want to build? Or an app essentially, and then we go to the startup idea.
I am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So I think a travel AI generator app would be great for itineraries, for
Okay.
complete
And
customization of the types of visitors that one might have.
okay, go just slightly easy, one word at a time. An app for travel, AI travel, personalization. Is
Yes.
it? AI travel personalization to do what?
To generate itineraries.
Generate itineraries. Whatever that spelling is, I always get it wrong. Itineraries. Oh, ho jayega. See, anyways, to generate itineraries, and for whom? Is it Gen Z? Is
So
it
it would be. I think there are different types of travel groups. So maybe solo travelers, small groups, family groups.
okay for solo travelers and small groups? Let's just keep it for now. Okay, we continue and we generate prompt here. We come here, we type it. Now we want a dark theme or maybe a young theme because we talk about Gen Zs and solo travelers. You can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Now, if you speak to any of your designer friends who are in Microsoft, Amazon, Googles of the world, and Zomatos and Zeptos, and ask them how long does it take for them to do a design sprint to come up with ideas, high fidelity designs, etc., etc. By the way, as a part of your internship process, you might be required to generate a few websites, generate a few design guidelines in terms of what kind of ideas do you want to build in. And this is really how much time it takes to get your designs out. For a Figma designer in Microsoft, in my team, they would take a lot of time to even come up with the first version of these designs. And these are exportable. So you can see here, this is a travel itinerary. You can get started and select, and then this whole page is there. You can find the location, etc. And you go to
I
nearby.
don't see anything much. I can see only just the IO. There's nothing changing in
Oh,
this page.
okay, just a second. Just a second. I'll change my window to the other one. Now you can see.
Yes, yeah.
So this is the preview of the app that just got generated. So we have the travel itinerary, get started, gives you local cuisines, etc. Now inside of local, with the right kind of, where to click, where not to click, etc. You can do all of that here. Where do you want to go to? You want to search, and you can actually, so this is this, and then I think, or Mahabharashka. So you can move on with this. If I go back to the page per se, I'll stop sharing and come back to the sharing again so that it gets to the right page. Now here is what it is. We have the plan, the adventure, next personalized itinerary. This is where you would want to typically stay. This is nearby, and it has given you some more additional screens, which is travel genie, home screen, bubble, personal, off beaten track, travel genie settings. And now I want to add a new screen, so which is generate a new screen, type a description for a mobile. I want to see the video of the location, or a 360-degree video of the location that I want to plan my travel for. High precision. Now, this is the level where the designs have now reached. You can actually talk to an agent which can start generating this. Now, here, of course, is a trigger and a reaction, relationship. I am giving these prompts, which essentially is, this is the new screen that it has just generated for me. There is a video which can be saved, it can be shared, and you can actually like, etc., etc. I can talk like forever, and we can keep generating these very interesting designs, and I can chat, and I can add payments, and I can add everything else here. And in a matter of a few minutes, you have the entire thing up and running just by talking. Now imagine instead of me talking, I basically connect this to my GPT. And in my GPT, I put in a little memory and say that, hey, as a Gen Z traveler, what all do you want? Be a critical analyzer and keep giving feedback. The feedback keeps coming back to you in UIZard, and it just keeps adding the screens one after another. In a matter of minutes, you will have more than 20 screens of an app done and dusted out, and this can be exported, which can be shown to your CXO, and they would be amazed that, hey, you've done a 20 screen prototype in high fidelity, which is clickable in your 2 months, which ideally is a project for 6 months in large organizations. That's really the big value add of where AI is coming in. The productivity is going 50x easily.
What about the IP of this? So this is done in my local. It's with the data I have given. So would that mean the IP is with me for this? Uh, whatever I was fetching,
So
will that
the
be part of my
IP,
IP?
correct. So the IP is owned by the person who owns the prompt. And which is where you'll see a lot of prompt marketplaces will come up in a few months. I'm talking to a couple of guys who are actually making a few of these prompts. So you can actually go and buy a prompt for $1. purely because you're not able to figure out and think and do things. So you will be able to save a lot of these prompts. System prompts, React prompts, so on and so forth. You will be able to buy, use it. In fact, why just prompts? We are currently talking about building a marketplace just like Apple App Store, an app store for agents and a marketplace of agents. So you do not need to know how an app is built. You just download Gmail, use it to send your Gmail accounts. Exactly the same way, you don't need to really know how the agents are being built, but you want to do a certain action, you want to automate certain things. And just by doing that, you will be able to put together an agent marketplace. You download the agent, you set it up, and boom, you're done. Yeah, many are anyway selling custom GPTs, absolutely. So custom, you connect one GPT to another GPT using make.com, Zapier, or NA10 or any of those, and you have the whole network up and running. It's just pretty amazing how the world is actually going to look like in 2 years from now. But that's not the title of today's talk. Sorry. Professor, over to you.
Yeah. No, even I should sell some GPT. I was thinking.
Absolutely. Let's build it out together.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me just go set. Once again, guys. I press something.
By the way, I guess, Kushi sir, we are supposed to give certificates also, right? To only the folks who are on the call, not for the folks who have registered.
Correct.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Then, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
So we've gone through reporting and presentations. Then is your favorite topic. So we had this whole discussion AI agentics which you're having from some days, and I thought if you can just kind of also give people an idea of the different, and there's some discussion already which started off with pre-empted discussions on how agentics works. I know we can't cover agentics here; it's going to be a big field. But if you could just do that, Sumit, that will also help out.
Cool. So agent nahi karte, but we'll just make quick show of hands, guys. How many of us here know how to make a custom GPT? So if you're raising your hand behind your camera and the camera is off, then clearly I would not get to know. Okay, Akash, Suja, no.
Yeah, I would suggest
Okay.
anyway do it for the simple reason that I'm saying we do it also, we might be doing it wrong. No? That's also one of the.
That can be
Yeah.
a possibility. So I will show you how I typically do it, and there are multiple narratives to it. So here is something which I have made, and I'll tell you how we can actually go about playing it. So here is an ACI, not ACI, PMX. Yeah, ACI PMX, right? This is the project. Sorry, I want to go to my custom GPT. So here is a daily agent. In this, I just type news. And this will essentially give me top 5 news articles from TechCrunch, Mashable, Link 42. I think there is PitchBook, so on and so forth. There are about 10 of these top publishers, including Bloomberg and stuff and Al Jazeera, get you the most trending stories of the day. And the prompt which is given here, if you see the date is May 17th, so only in last 24 hours, right? What is the link, the title of that news article? What is the summary? It's not giving me the whole list of it, just the summary. It's also giving me a daily digest summary only just from all of these 5. So if I just read this, I will get to know what has happened like in last 24 hours. I also use the same GPT to get me an InVideo script. I run a YouTube channel, a faceless YouTube channel. So this InVideo script essentially goes inside of InVideo directly. For now, for in this particular custom GPT, I have not automated it, but you can automate this response on a webhook inside of custom, inside of a GPT on if you have OpenAI, API keys. So you can directly just throw this into your InVideo and the entire video gets generated and you can download. You can actually go all the way from InVideo to YouTube and post it as well. So the moment I do news, 5 minutes after that, my video will be up and running live on YouTube. That's the agent that I have made. So here is what it is. It also gives me a LinkedIn form post. It also gives me an X post, and it also gives me a JSON in case if I want to send my JSON files or anything that I want to connect with in something else. If I want to do Canva, for example, and I want social media, and then I want to post it to LinkedIn. LinkedIn would probably, Canva needs a JSON. JSON would then go make a social, social image or carousel, and then the carousel gets posted on LinkedIn. All of these agents can be very easily done, but this is just the first one, and we are already at 3:30. So what I'll do is to create an agent. The way I have learned it and I do it is I go back and forth between my desktop application and my web application as well. So I'll switch over to my web application now. Just bear with me, guys.
The screen is not visible again.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up that one. Okay, so when you go inside of your ChatGPT account on the web, point to be noted. You go on the web, it'll take you to a login screen. Once you're logged in, this is typically how you have the plans and you have the summaries, which ones you've done, kind of conversations, etc., etc. And under your name, you can actually make my GPTs. Now, inside of a my GPT, you can create a new GPT. Now, let's say you want to make a GPT to do a research or social listening, sentiment analysis, etc., etc. Right. So what I will do is I want to make a custom GPT to do market research and analysis for my brand. Now, at this point in time, you can actually insert quotes and say, ask me to fill this brand. And then it'll basically, every time you put in a prompt, it'll ask me, okay, which brand do you want to? Or you can just say for my travel channel on YouTube. Okay? I talk about Gen Z solo travelers and help them plan better. This is one way in which you get started. Okay, I'll just show you how we go about it. Now it's kind of setting up blah 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 something, updating GPT, giving it some memory. It'll ask me a lot of questions, and then it'll basically play around with it. It'll ask me to do some kind of configure also. However, the best way that you would want to ideally do this is I copy this here. I go back to my chat GPT window. Oops. This is not the right window. Here is my custom GPT window, and I would just paste the whole thing here. And now I will get started in what is called as a chain of thought prompting. And then eventually I'll come up with something called as a single shot prompt. And I'll tell you why these two are very different and very important. So to perform ongoing market research, company YouTube channel, key features to be included, content finder function, prompt engineering example for your GPT. You can build these into custom, just copy paste the whole thing. You'll get that platforms to build. Next steps, give your name a GPT, etc., etc. This is great. Help me plan my research is missing. What else is missing from my custom GPT? So what I'm now doing essentially is I'm challenging it. I'm trying to ask him, again and again or ask her, we don't know which side, but what exactly is the GPT going to do? What role is he? I haven't asked GPT to currently play a role, right? I will also ask now as to what role does he or she wants to kind of make a play. What role are you playing here? The Gen Z travel strategist. Okay, let's change it to Gen Z travel content creator. The moment you change it, you will realize that a lot of the stuff that we have done Uber, which is custom GPT architecture, etc., is now starting to change. Content creator, Gen Z going to help me plan my research. That entire thing has changed now. Okay. Help me build my custom GPT as an expert GPT creator. Give me a single shot prompt that I would use in my configuration for the custom GPT. Now, after talking to all of this that I'm doing, I'm asking for a single shot prompt. Now, the single shot prompt essentially is what we will copy and we will take and just paste it there. But however, what we've not done till now in this is what is the output that I want? Okay, let's say if I just use this and let's test this. Now this is giving me section, goal, key questions, etc. This is not the kind of response that I want. Even if I'm in a travel solo, etc., etc. So there will be definitely be a some way that I want my response to be done. So I would say this is not a user-friendly response. Give me a response output that can be consumed on a mobile. My GPT is running a little low on the memory, it's getting a little slower. So on the go creators, mobile friendly version, now it's giving me a breakdown. Now this is more readable than it is. Now what I'll do is update my single shot prompt and we'll stop at that. And I want to now take this all the way to the other end. Now, where we started off with doing just one bit about Gen Z travel, etc., I now have a single shot prompt. I now go back to my GPT on the web. And in the configuration section, which you see here, I basically paste the whole thing. Or what you can also do is we can just add below what it was, because initially we said the GP is designed to do, etc., etc. What we now also need to do is if someone asks you anything besides of travel, bring them back to the travel topic. Now we just close it. We have Gen Z travel expert. And let's say conversation starters, I say travel as a new one. I can also add a lot of files, by the way. If you already have a lot of these travel itineraries from somewhere or done some other research, etc., you can totally bring that piece in. Now, I would say create. For now, or anyone with the link, we just save it. Now, what I need to do is basically test it out and say travel. Now it's asking me questions because that's what we asked in our custom one. We actually did ask it to play around with it. We want to edit this GPT and see. the outcome would be very, very different here. It gathers data, it should summarize, etc. Friendly tone, it avoids, etc. Focus on, etc. You have a personal travel budget. You know what I expect from you. See, plan and structure. Now it's asking me to plan and structure, etc. It's if my request is unclear. Now here I want to go back to my custom GPT that I created in the beginning. Now imagine if you just play along with that and I remove a few of these or I just change it. Ask me for the location and give me the itinerary and I update it and I want to test it out again here. So till the time you're not happy about Barcelona, 5 days, under 50K INR. So unless and until you're not very thorough about what is the output that you want, and that output essentially comes here. This is where you define your output, how you want that output to come along, what is it, and you can actually extend it all the way along. Like you can give your own outputs that you want. Now this is your custom GPT. Now let's say, are there any business conferences that I can attend? Or tell me the business. Now this can be considered a travel related question or it can be a business related question. But the moment I ask this here, ideally it should take us back. But it's again, because it's a travel related question, it is taking me still answering it. But when we have designed our prompt, we said that if someone asks anything besides of travel, bring them back to the topic. How to reduce 5 kgs in 20 days. Now you see that? That's an important goal, but here we are all about travel. Let's frame this around getting travel ready, etc., etc. Do you want to be budget friendly, meals, etc.? How do you find all of that can be done, and you can. This is around travel. This can also be done for finance, legal, etc. By uploading the right kind of files, the prompts has to be very, very sharp. That is going to really make or break the entire thing. If your prompt is loose, you will get all sorts of responses. But if your prompt is very razor
So if
sharp,
you want to
airtight,
monetize,
yeah,
if you want
yeah,
to
go ahead.
monetize this chat GPT just now, how do you do it?
Yeah, you basically publish it out and then allow people to use it, and then even you can ask GPT saying that before you even put in, send them this link, and you can link it to your make.com or a Zapier to check if people have paid or not. So you can even ask GPT saying that, hey, I want to monetize my custom GPT, tell me how to do it. And plug in that whole monetization piece.
No, can it be actually posted in GPT itself, that chat
Yeah,
GPT
yeah,
itself,
totally.
that this can be
Absolutely.
available?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
this is the
100%.
cost to it.
Absolutely. You can totally do that. You can bring in a custom separate file from outside, which you can upload it saying that if somebody wants to pay, throw them this HTML. It'll open up that HTML and take it to the web to make the payment. All of that is very much possible. There's some very fancy GPTs that people have made. It's all about the prompt that you are actually adding. For the sake of this workshop, we've done a very small, very tacky exercise. But if you spend like an hour on this, make a nice custom GPT, you will be able to really do a fantastic job of automating a lot of your pieces. Guys, any more questions? There is one. Screen surface. That's Pranay sir saying. Sorry. Yes, I thought you said a question. But yeah, so this is an extremely foundational, and for 2 hours we just could not really do justice to the overall topic. But asking you guys to sit on a webinar like this on a Saturday afternoon when you would all be planning for a party, is too much to ask for. So thank you so much, guys, for even
I have a
spending this.
personal question. I have a
Please
very
go ahead.
personal question. When did you start
Can that
with
be
all
asked?
this?
Can you
Yeah, when
can that be asked in public, or the personal question needs to be asked separately?
no, it's actually like when did you start with this all this thing? I
Oh,
mean,
I
how?
started with this almost like a year back, but now I run courses and I teach. That's the WhatsApp community that I have. You can totally join this.
Okay,
We
so if you
That's my
want to
venture.
start from today, how much time we need to invest? Like, can it be done in a?
Oh, you should
How
be
much
done
one
in
should
about a
be?
maximum a month. Maximum, I'm talking about maximum a month. I'm designing a course for a week, which would get you from prompt engineering to building out your full-fledged, lovable applications. Not the agents. Agents take a little while to get right. But if you want to go all the way to agents, then maximum a month. But in 1 week, I'll be able to get you guys to launch your own applications, your own mobile apps and mobile web apps with your own sojanizam.com, with whatever boutique firm that you want to start, all in a week.
Okay,
You will be doing it yourself without even coding it.
okay. So understanding what are the different types of prompting. I mean,
All of that, yeah, all of that, yes. Everything, right from basic to advanced to building out. And depending on what use case are you looking at, are you looking at more from a marketing standpoint? Then the journey is different. If you're looking to become a AI coder and an automations engineer, then it's different. If you want to do vibe coding, then it's different. Or automations, then you got the drill. Basically, it's a very custom program. Depending on what you want, that can be done.
okay. Thank you.
Entire. I hope this was
Yeah,
helpful
I've just
today.
shared a couple of QR codes here. So one is obviously for ASAI. Just Sumit, if you want to join this community, it's quite interesting. So Sumit's link is there. And the other QR code is for registering for certificates. It's a Google form. You just scan it and then you can register for your certificates. I think Rohit will get this information.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And honestly,
Yeah, I
sorry, I'm not an AI
also
expert as Sumit is, but I'm saying the more you dabble with it, right? I'm an engineer, but I've 19 years in marketing. I've not done any coding. But the more and more you dabble with it, you realize it's very simple and easy to use. And frankly, the way it's going, I think AI is uh, we have to learn it. It's the next Excel or something. Without it, you can't work. So the more I've been putting my head into it, and I really didn't have time to very recently to get a lot into it. But still, I would like spend an hour, 2 hours a week at least to just go through AI courses, practicing through ChatGPT. And you will see ChatGPT also teaches you a lot about ChatGPT, and then you should do a course like what Sumit shares. And between that and experimenting, you learn it. But don't keep dabbling in it. I'm saying don't just make it a party trick. You can use it for actual work. That's the learning we need to have.
As Sir Johnny Walker said long, long time ago, keep walking.
Keep working. Yeah. Yeah,
hi.
that's it. Koshi, you want to say
Thank you
something?
so
Sorry,
much.
add something. Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
am I
thank you,
audible?
Sumit. And is someone trying to speak? Someone asking a
Yeah. Sorry.
question now? Was someone asking a question? Then we can
Actually,
take
am I
that.
audible?
I think Hemant was
Yes.
saying something, sir.
Yes, Hemant, go on.
Am I audible? So sorry. Actually, I
Yes.
was trying to speak. I don't know why it did not go through. So it was really a good session, and I have been using AI, but you showed me a bit of how more better we can do it. However, there's one thing that I realized when I was listening to your is that the thing that you can get from AI, the better output, depends on how good your first principle thinking is, how good your ground, understanding and foundation is, so that you can criticize it well, understand it well, and then iterate it well. So, if you could also share some resources, I mean, I know it takes time, but if you could share some resources, books, blogs, anything that helped you make your first principle thinking better, I think that would also be very helpful.
Sure. There is one resource which is a Google, thing, which I posted on my topmate. You can just download it. It's a free resource. Again, a 66 pager by Google. I'll just paste my link here. And a couple of more reports that they're available for you to download. So you can just download these reports and this pager and start playing around with it. That's definitely number one. What I've realized is that even with the first principle, first approach of first, very basics, first principle approach, you are able to break it down, yes. But then how do you really talk to the machine is a very different language, which I have observed. How do you set the context and what should come first? What should come later? That's where a lot of prompt engineering comes, even with the first principles approach. So, which is where, and somebody asked this question in the chat that is consulting going to die? May not be in the short run, but eventually looks like yes, because people will learn how to talk to GPT. The only gap between you being a great consultant from IIM Ahmedabad or Kozhikode or from Lucknow is because you can talk to GPT better. And the owners of the SMEs and other organizations probably do not have enough time to explore. The moment they figure out that they are able to explore GPTs and otherwise, they will stop paying you for that information because they will have more information. And for a fresh grad to be able to do it, how do you really talk to GPT becomes very important. Because if you're prompting someone and if you don't ask GPT to act as a 100x consultant or a 100x or a consultant that charges $1,000 for an hour, that's the billing rate. If you do not add that, then you will not get as deeper strategic insights in the responses that you get. Play around with a few of these. It's very fascinating. And there are both sides of the story. I mean, this is a classic uh, argument, and we were having this conversation in the morning as well, that people said that, hey, now that you have machines, people will stop doing human labor. And then it evolved. And then people said, now that you have computers, computers will take our job. And then people evolved, right? Work evolved. We still continue to do it. So it's going to be in a space wherein AI is going, yes, but your job essentially will be taken by somebody who knows AI better. The job will eventually evolve. The functions probably will evolve. How do we measure success will evolve, but the work would still remain. Who does that new form of work better probably will have a better leverage. Like, how do you really get so building these tools is not very difficult if you ask me. What's important is how do you ensure that the quality of the response goes from 80% to 90% to 95%, and anybody in the organization, if is able to take the response of that particular, whichever GPT, Perplexity, Claude, whoever you do, go from 80% to 90 to 95 to 99%. The one who's taking from 90 to 99% will always have a much wider, stronger leverage on his work as against people who are essentially doing just the very regular menial work. So you've got to really play on with prompt engineering. That's going to be the language of the machines. And English is only one part of it. The moment you go to the system side of prompting, the tech side of prompting, it really gets very, very exciting there. I hope that kind of
Thank you so
answers.
much for bringing up the line.
Yeah. So I think great. And thank you, Sumit and Pranay, for agreeing to do this session. The intent was to kind of expose people to different tools available. And of course, if they are keen, they can always, take on more courses. And Sumit is also available. He has a lot of resources on board. So thank you, everyone. And I hope it was valuable for you. And yeah, do click on the link for the certificates if you're a student, and we will share it with you. And we would encourage you to post it on LinkedIn as well, so we get some encouragement that yes, we did a good job on today's call. So thank you, everyone. Thanks, Sumit. Thanks, Pranay, once again. Thanks for all the
Thank you.
participants.
Thanks, Pranay. Thanks,
Thank
Pranay.
you,
See you
everyone.
next soon.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Enjoy your
Bye.
weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.